What's up, Bulldogs? All right, this is going to be a fairly longer video because we're going to be talking about 6 things that the red pill gets wrong. And before I even get into this, I want to start by saying that, look, I was one of the original guys that was starting the red pill movement. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. You can see the history. I was there, and I was coming up with a lot of the concepts and things that I'm going to talk about, some of them today, but the foundation of what the red pill was. And when it first came out, when we were first discovering these ideas, it was a good thing. The reason why it was good was because it's all about finding the truth about the uncomfortable things about female nature and the dark psychology of women that men needed to understand in order to be more successful with women. In order to, basically the way I would equate it is you're playing this game and you don't know what the rules to the game are, and now someone's telling you what the rules are. You're discovering what those rules are. Now, unfortunately, a lot of times what this creates in men that didn't know these things is rage, right? What they call red pill rage. And that's not a great state to be in. And that's where a lot of the truth gets distorted, because you have guys that are stuck in this phase of rage, and they come up with these ideas and they repeat these things, and they tend to have this jaded view of women and society and all of these things, and it's not good. It's not helpful. And so that's why I want to talk about, there's some truths there. Red pill, the fundamental truths of it are good, but sometimes they're misunderstood, and sometimes they are taken to extremes that are not truth anymore. And this is where it becomes a problem. And I see a lot of guys that get caught up in this, and they have really an anger or hatred towards women, towards Western women. They use a lot of phrases like thought and things like that that are just derogatory and are not coming from a very high level of consciousness, right? So what I'd like to do is to help you to understand what exactly is true and what's not true, and what is a more beneficial way at looking at some of these truths. Because ultimately, the whole idea behind the red pill is that you should understand these fundamental truths, the nature of women, and not be upset about it. You should be stoic. You should be glad that you're getting these truths and not using this to say, oh, women are bad, or this is bad. Instead, to be, okay, now I know these things. Now let me operate understanding these things. And hopefully, as in all things, from a place of love. It should make you a better man, a more caring, a more loving man, but an educated one. So let's start with the first one, which is a phrase that I hear all the time, which is, she's not yours, it's just your turn. So first, let's talk about the truth of this. Is this actually true? There is truth to this. This is an important concept for a man to understand, especially a young man, meaning that do not just assume that some girl that you're dating, that she's not dating other guys. Don't assume that she's just gonna want you and she's gonna stay with you forever and be loyal to you. Don't assume these things. Assume that it is just your turn, in the sense that do not just assume by being who you are or that she likes you that she's gonna stay with you, that's enough. It's not enough. As a man, you must continue to improve yourself. You must continue to perform. You must continue to show up as that man. And you have to create enough depth in the relationship with a woman, enough trust and security for her, while still creating the excitement and the thrill of being with you, of being a man that has a backbone, that stands up for himself, that does not tolerate disrespect, right? You have to have all of these elements in order to have a woman that is yours. But here's where it goes wrong. It's not true that this is always the case. It's good to have this idea in your mind as a young man that it's not yours, she's not yours, it's just your turn, so that you don't get one-itis and become attached to one woman early on. You need to be dating, you need to be, quote, spinning plates, you need to be dating multiple women. You need to not have just this one woman in mind as an outcome. You need to just think, okay, this is a woman just like any other woman. This is the base mindset that you should have. Now, where it goes wrong is this, is that it's not true that she's not yours, that a woman can never be yours. You can have a woman that is yours. I 100% guarantee you, because I've had many women that were, quote, mine, that would do anything for me, that worship the ground I walk on, that would never leave me, that would never be unloyal to me. Okay, now why is that? Because I understand how to treat women, all right? Now, I'm not saying this as the blue pill, whatever, be a nice guy. I'm saying that I understand how to please women sexually. I understand how to please them emotionally, how to satisfy their need for security and hypergamy. Okay, I understand how to do those things. I understand how to make a woman feel special, but also have her know that I have standards and I have respect for myself, and that there is no way that I would ever tolerate disrespect, that I will walk away, okay? That is how you accomplish this. If you're this guy, all right, who treats a woman well, it makes her feel like the most special woman in the world, and I've said this multiple times, and you still have the backbone of not allowing yourself to be disrespected, what is going to happen? She is going to see you as a rare unicorn, and she is going to be yours. Okay? That absolutely can happen, because women will definitely hold on to a guy that is able to do those things, especially 100% if he is good in bed. So you have to be good at that. But if you really understand these other things, you will be, because you will create that depth of connection, right? Women want to fall in love. They want to be, they love love. You know, you need to be a man that loves women, loves the idea of femininity. Women can sense that, they can feel that. So that's the first one, is she's not yours, it's just your turn. It's useful, but it's not entirely true. It's a good thing to have in your mind initially, so you don't get one-eyed, so you don't think that every girl that you're dating, whatever, that you just fall madly in love with, you need to be discriminating. But at the same time, don't carry it out to think that you can never have a woman that is yours. In fact, the woman wants to be possessed by you. She wants to be yours, all right? It actually turns women on, but you have to actually take full account of that ownership in her mind. All right, which is not easy to do. Second, all women are like that, or AWALT. AWALT. Again, this is an important truth on the surface level. The things that are true about women are generally true about all women, in the sense that female psychology is what it is. Do women like the bad boy and not like the nice guy? Yes. It doesn't matter what the woman says. All women are like that. That is true. That is an attribute of female psychology. Are women attracted to guys that are not needy? Yes. All women are like that. Will a woman look to trade up often when she's not satisfied, when her hypergamy is not satisfied? Yes, that often is the case and is true. All women are like that. They all are looking for high status men. That is what is attractive to women, is high status man. Will a woman cheat if she, in certain circumstances? Yeah, pretty much all women will, or they will, whatever, they'll look for the next opportunity, or they'll emotionally cheat, or they're going to exit the relationship and go with the next guy, whatever it is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there are these fundamental things that are true about the nature of women, okay, and what they like, what turns women on, right? And if you want to really understand this in depth, I put together a video on the 4 types of men. You can check the link down below. And in that video, I talk about the spectrum between being a kind guy, or being a guy who cares about people versus a guy who cares about what people think about him, and that the intersection of those things. What women are attracted to is a guy who doesn't care what people think about him. That's why the asshole is attractive, but it's universally attractive. These are universally attractive traits, right? So in regards to those things, all women are like that. Now, where this goes wrong is that when you just blanket apply this phrase to everything that you attribute to be bad about a woman. You're like, all women are like that. All women cheat. All women will be disrespectful. All women will whatever it is. Okay? All women will jump, will monkey branch, whatever you apply. That's not accurate, because you're forgetting the subtleties of this. You're not looking at the psychology of why this is, right? So for example, let's just take one of these. We've got a lot to cover, so I won't belabor this, but say all women cheat. If you say that, then what that means when you say it that way is that all women are like that, all women cheat. Now you're saying that under all circumstances that is true. Well, that's not true, right? All women are capable of that. All women are capable of that under the circumstances that would create that, right? Which again, a lot of guys don't like to hear this, but it is if a woman is not being emotionally fulfilled, if she doesn't have emotional security and safety, that is the most likely time that she will cheat. It's going to be because she does not have a deep enough intimate relationship and connection with the man. She does not feel the emotional security. Again, I'm not saying this from just making this up. I'm saying this from understanding, talking to lots of women, coaching a lot of guys, doing this for a very long time, that I can say that is the condition in which it occurs. It's not just hot guy at a party, was drinking, whatever. Yes, those are some dangers, but ultimately if a woman is satisfied and she feels like her emotional needs are being met and she's being emotionally validated in a relationship with a guy that she does respect and view as high status, then she's not going to cheat. Okay, so that's why this is so important, is to understand the distinction. There's truth in this idea. Like, don't kid yourself. Don't be like, oh, this woman's different. No, women don't like nice guys. Women do want the same kind of thing. Women are attracted to assholes. They're attracted to these traits. All women are like that, no matter what she says. However, don't take this to the extreme where you're just applying these blanket labels without having the understanding behind it. The next one, a woman can never love you. Okay, now this is a very, very interesting thing. So the caveat to this is a woman can never love you like you expect her to, or like a man loves. That's generally how this is said. There's truth to this in the sense that the way that a man loves and a woman loves is different. There's a difference between those things. A woman is never going to love you the way that you're expecting, which is just for you, for just showing up, and you don't have to do anything, and you just can be, quote, yourself, right? And I'm not talking about the higher version of yourself. I'm just saying you just show up and you just play video games and whatever. And this woman, a man can love a woman like that. Right? Why? Because femininity is something that women are born with, and it gets hidden, it gets shrouded, it gets covered, but it always exists. Whereas masculinity is not something that men are born with, it is something that they have to create. And so when we talk about love, as a masculine man, what you're loving in a woman is the feminine aspect of her. What a woman is loving in a man is the masculine aspect of him. So since one has to be developed, that means that a woman can never love you the way that you love her. Basically meaning that she can't just love you for, quote, who you are. It's who you become that a woman loves you for. Do you understand that? Right? Which is what you should do. You should become the best man that you can become. Now, where this goes wrong is when guys think that a woman can never love you. That's not true. Women love love. They want to fall in love. Okay. However, they have to have the right man. They have to have the man that meets their, like I said, emotional needs. If you can be an intelligent man who understands, who has a degree of emotional intelligence, who is stoic, who is able to be a rock, who's able to be masculine in a relationship with a woman. Again, a good book on that is Masculine in Relationship by G.S. Youngblood. Another good book is The Alabaster Girl by Zan Perion. That's probably one of the best books if you're single right now to read that book. Every man should read that book, absolutely. But what you have to understand is that a woman can deeply love you. With my wife, Nicole, she deeply loves me, deeply, in a way that is even greater than I can have the capacity to love. The feminine is more capable of love than the masculine, like a deeper kind of love. Again, you might disagree with me about this. You might say, oh, well, guys are the romantics. Yeah, that tends to be true, that guys are the romantics, the idealists. But when a woman really, really gives her heart, when she really loves a man, she will do anything for him. That love is greater than, a man is always going to have his mission first in life, and he should. A woman will have a man that she truly loves at the center of her life, and that will be the most important thing to her in her life. That's critical to understand. So that's why this gets twisted so much, is that there's truth to this idea. But if you take it too far, then you're going to be jaded. You're going to miss out on what is perhaps one of the most beautiful things in life, which is having this kind of relationship with a woman where she is completely enthralled and in love with you. And now it's not necessarily based on performance, right? I mean, as a man, you're going to continue to show up and do the things that you're supposed to do. But even in hard times, she's going to be there for you. Right now, she's going to expect you to get up and to take care of yourself at some point. But you can create that kind of relationship with a woman. It's out there. It's available. If you want some help on this, again, you can watch the podcast I have with my wife called the Better Than Perfect Podcast. We do it weekly. It's a video podcast. I'll put the link down below, or you can search for Better Than Perfect Podcast. Okay. Fourth one, alpha fucks, beta bucks. Okay. There's truth to this. Again, all of these things have some truth to this. So where did this come from? What does this mean? This means that women have a dualistic mating strategy, right? There's some truth to this, and this is in evolutionary biology. You can't deny some of these things. Meaning that a woman wants to have sex with a guy that she sees as an alpha to get the best genes, but she often wants to settle down with a guy that has the provider type of genes, that will be a good father, that will take care of her financially, provide for her, okay? Now, this is true, right? And women will act this way. There are plenty of women, they will have sex with a guy that treats them like crap, doesn't really do anything for them, and they find him attractive, and they just want to have sex with this guy, and they'll break all the rules for this guy, okay? He's the, quote, Chad. But then there'll be an accountant that they're dating that they'll get into a long-term relationship with, and they'll get engaged. Okay, and then maybe they'll even cheat on this accountant when the opportunity arises to have this rock star or alpha guy, high status guy. Okay, there's truth to this. Women will do that. Women are smart enough to say, all right, maybe I should go with this stable guy over here that he's not as exciting. I'm not as excited about him, but I have a future with him. He's going to be loyal to me. He's going to treat me well, right? Now, when women make this choice, it's a poor choice, but they do make this choice. So there's truth to this. Here's where it falls apart. Here's where it's not true. The falsehood of this is the false dichotomy of thinking that it's either alpha fucks or beta bucks. That's not true. many times in society that is true in the sense that many guys are either alpha guys or they're beta guys. That is true. Many guys are either assholes or they're nice guys. That is true. However, again, like I said, I've got a video, click link down below if you want to watch it, on the 4 types of men. There's actually 4 types of men. There's a nice guy, there's a narcissist, there's an asshole, and there's a gentleman, all right? What women really want is they want an alpha guy who only has eyes for them. If you read any romance novel, that is the theme of it, okay? Study some romance novels. You'll understand this. This is what women really want. They want an alpha guy who only has eyes for them, who treats them like the only woman in the world, okay? Who treats them special. Unfortunately, it's hard to find that. So women take their shots at guys that are alphas, and they'll have sex with these guys because that's fun, that's exciting. But these guys are not going to settle down with them, and they're not guys that they would even want to. They're not quality relationship material because they're assholes, right? And again, I explained it in that other video as to why this is the case and what actually attracts women. Hint, it is because these guys don't care what other people think about them. And so women end up settling for guys that are provider, beta guys that don't have these alpha attributes. But the ideal in which you can become as a man, believe me, I know this, is you can become both. You can become an alpha guy who is a provider, who is a protector. You can become the true masculine that the feminine is looking for. Because the true masculine man is a union of these things. He's a guy who doesn't care about what people think about him, but does care about people, specifically about the woman that he's with, and treats her like gold. But he doesn't allow anyone to disrespect him. He has those attributes of the alpha, but he also has the attributes of the true masculinity of a loving, caring, kind man who treats people well, who has principles, and especially treats this woman like she's special. If you have that combination, you're going to be highly sought after. Believe me, I've been I've been doing this for a while, okay? And with my podcast, with my wife, again, Better Than Perfect podcast, a lot of women in the comments, a lot of women sharing their stories, and I can tell you with 100% certainty what I'm telling you is absolutely true. I have seen it, I've coached guys on it, I've experienced it in my life many times. So if you understand this, you're going to have a golden ticket. You're going to be the most valuable man that a woman has ever seen in her life, and she's not going to let you go. But you got to understand how to do this. Finally, or actually there's 2 more. The 5th one is hypergamy doesn't care. Okay, again, this is true at a surface level. The hypergamistic, I think now that's a new word, nature of women says that they don't care about the previous history of the relationship. They don't care how loyal you've been. They don't care about what you've done for them in the past, because your past deeds don't matter. Women live in the present, in the now, in the depth of the feeling of the relationship now. A woman is like a thermostat for the relationship. She can detect what level it's at. Okay. So the truth of this is that a woman is going to be attracted to a higher status guy, irregardless of how much stuff you've done for her in the past. She wants to do the best that she can. That is an instinct of women. They want to get the best that they can. Now, what you're judging as the best is not the correct way, right? It's not just about getting the highest status or the most attractive guy that they could get. Now, yes, when they're single, that's obviously what they want, but there's still more components to this, and that's where the relationship comes in. So it's true that hypergamy doesn't care about your feelings, doesn't care about, women want to achieve the highest level that they can. That's how it is. Women date up. That's true. Where this falls short is, again, applying this to relationship. I'll just give you an example, right? And again, I know I'm going to get flack for this. It's fine, but this is truthful, and I'm giving you this example so you can understand this. I leave myself open for attack. That's fine. My wife, for example, Nicole, there's nothing that any man could say, doesn't matter how rich, how famous he is, how attractive he is, there is nothing at all that could make her entertain any other guy, to speak to him, to do anything with him. 100% guarantee. Oh, John, you're naive, blah, 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 you don't understand. Look, I literally would go out with women back in the day before I got in a relationship with Nicole, and I would have a woman that I had just picked up from a nightclub or a bar, or had her come over to my place from Tinder or whatever. And while I am having sex with her, she would show me her phone. She would show me the guys that she matched with. She would show me, tell me about the guy that she's in love with, that she wants, that she, her future that she wants to have with this guy, ask me advice on this guy, while she's seeing me, to get the D. I'm being honest with you here, all right? So I know about hypergamy. I know about how a lot of women operate. I know they'll say one thing and they'll do another thing, right? I've seen it firsthand. I've been that dude that women cheat with, been that guy. So I can tell you that what I'm saying about my wife, about Nicole, I know for absolute 100% certainty. She would stand any test. And the reason for this is not because of my status, not because of my money. That was good for initially creating the attraction. And those are still good things. It's because of the depth of the relationship that we've built and because of how I treat her and how I show up in the relationship, the masculine element that I bring that she knows she could not find anywhere else. Okay, forget about this. The sex aspect of it. Trust me on that one. Like, she can't find that nowhere. Not even close. Okay, right? But all of the things that I'm bringing to this relationship as a man, on how I treat her, how I respect her and myself, right? The maturity level that I have reached in my own personal development, the fact that I am growing and learning, and the love that I have for her and show her while still maintaining my respect and boundaries, creating safe boundaries for her and the relationship. That's how I've built this to this point where, hypergamy, it's not an issue. Because it's still true in the sense that hypergamy doesn't care, because she knows that she has achieved best that she could ever possibly find. There's no doubt in her mind about this, because I've created that by being this guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Again, you might say, oh, John, you're pretty arrogant with this. Check it. It's true. All right. 100% true. There's just no doubt in my mind about this. All right. And I can say this having been a guy that was the guy that women cheated with. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you understand why those things are relevant? Why that makes sense? Okay. So I want you to understand that, yes, it is true that hypergamy doesn't care, but at the same time, you don't use this in the right way, thinking that whatever woman that you're with, if there's a better guy that comes along, she's going to jump ship, or she's going to be attracted to that guy or want to be with that guy. That's not true. If you show up in the relationship and you understand how to be masculine in a relationship, again, read that book, Masculine Relationship by G.S. Youngblood, watch these videos, join the Bulldog Mindset membership, learn how to do this stuff, you won't have to worry about hypergamy, okay? Because you'll be the best guy. By far. There's so few of guys like this. That's what my mission is to create more of them. Watch the Better Than Perfect podcast. Learn these things. I'm telling you, it is so fundamental, and it will shift everything that you believe about reality once you understand this. Person who gets it, Zan Perion, Alabaster Girl. Again, that's why I recommend that book. All right, the final one I have for you is Marriage is a Trap. So this is number 6. There's truth to this in the sense that, is marriage a good deal for a man today? Probably not. Why? Because high instance of divorce. Women initiate most of the divorces. A man tends to lose in the family courts. Okay, many times he doesn't get to see his children. Women who divorce men often are very vindictive, and they will go after everything, and a man can lose his stuff. And it's a very big risk for a man to take with really no benefit, because hey, if he wants to have sex with a woman, she's gonna have sex with him without being married for the most part. You know, he's got optionality. If he's a guy that's successful with women, he can date a woman forever, whatever. Like, there's no real incentive in that sense for a man to get married. So it seems like a trap, and there's truth to this. However, this is where it is not true. Okay, that doesn't mean that the institution of marriage is not valuable to men, okay, or valuable in general. All right, so let me give you some reasons for this. First of all, let's look at the divorce rate. It's very high, yes. That means that better be sure, and you better be cautious. That means that there's something going on here. Why do women initiate most of the divorces? Is it because women are just fundamentally broken? Is it because society? Is it because of feminism? There's some truth to some of those things. But I would say that it is because a man does not know how to be masculine in the relationship. Doesn't understand women. He doesn't understand how to truly love a woman in the way that she needs to be loved. It's not easy to learn this. This is a skill. Look, I can teach you in one night how to pick up women and get laid. Not a problem. It's easy. I've done it many times. I can show you exactly how to do it. Okay, I can give you that skill in one night, maybe 2 nights. All right, if you listen to everything I say. I've done it before. I've coached guys, take them out to Vegas, show them how to do it, gave them success. Teaching you how to be a man in a relationship, how to be masculine in a relationship, that's going to take you your whole life to learn. And I'm still learning, and you will still be learning. It can take a lifetime to master that skill set. That's why I'm saying is that if you understand this, then you will see that that is the cause of that problem, or that's a solution for it. Again, I'm putting it on you as a man. You're the leader. You're the man. Men aren't taking pride in being a man. You might say, oh, women this, women don't take accountability. Okay, sure, that's fine. That's women. I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about women, okay? You're the man. You take accountability. If a marriage fails, it's your fault, because you're the one who didn't vet her correctly, or you didn't know how to maintain that relationship in that marriage. It's one thing to be an alpha guy on the streets and know how to pick up women. It's another thing to understand a woman's heart, to understand how to create an extreme depth of a relationship, to keep a fire burning, right? That is way more difficult to build. So that's the first thing, is that when you look at it from that lens and you realize that you're the one who has control over this, and you're the one who really is because guys won't walk away. Well, guys will be in a shitty situation, shitty relationship, and they won't file for divorce because they don't want to be uncomfortable. Women, they can't live without their relationship thriving, okay? They can't, because a guy can focus on his work, he can focus on something else. Women, no. Relationship is central to a woman's life. That's why women initiate most of the divorces. This is truth. Okay, it's truth. And now I have plenty of harsh things to say towards women, or difficult things, and I have Better Than Perfect podcast. Watch it, watch the clips on it where women just pile on the hatred towards me because I'm telling them that they need to step up and take some accountability and understand a man and read a book like The Queen's Code. And don't get me wrong here, but I don't care about that. I'm putting it on you as a man. All right. So the second thing about this is that what is valuable about marriage? Well, look at this. It makes a woman feel special. It makes a woman feel safe and secure. Not only that, but putting your ass on the line, pledging your assets, taking the jump, taking the risk, even though there's not much for you to gain and there's a lot for you to lose, that creates stakes. When you have stakes, you have depth. All right. Think of it as this way, right? If you've got a safety net, if you're doing tightrope walking, right, across a canyon, let's say, and there's a safety net there, you're not so afraid because you could fall, you fall in the safety net. I still don't want to fall, but you're not trying so hard. Maybe you're not practicing as hard. But if there's no safety net, if you're going to fall to your death, you're going to practice a lot. You're going to make sure you show up. You're going to make sure you focus. You're not going to give up. You're not just going to fall in. So making a pledge between all of your friends and in front of your friends and family, putting your assets on the line, doing all of these things to show this level of commitment, those are meaningful things that strengthen their relationship. They can, yes, marriages fall apart when people don't take them seriously. But if you truly take the vows seriously, it's good to have something at stake. You need to have some skin in the game, a lot of skin in the game, and you're the leader. It's up to you, man. You're the one who has the stuff to risk, so you better learn how to lead the relationship and show up as a masculine man in that relationship. And if you do that, you're going to create success. And hey, if you don't, and if it does fall apart, so what? Then you got to deal with that. Hey, I'm divorced. Now, did I mess up? Did I not know what I know now? Yeah, of course. But it doesn't matter because you get up and you pick yourself up because you're a man, okay? Now again, I don't say just haphazardly go into marriage. It is the most serious decision you're going to make in your life, and the most important decision you're going to make in your life is the woman that you spend your life with. But also, marriage facilitates children and a community and the backbone of our society, right? If you're for not single mothers and you want to have an anti-woke culture and you want to have men and women who have values and principles, marriage and the nuclear family is the foundation of that. And so you can't just opt out of this and be like, oh, it sucks because of Western women in feminist society today. No, or the court system or whatever. These are all kind of bullshit excuses. There's truth to these things, but these things only become a problem when you don't know how to show up as a man in that relationship, when you don't know how to vet women. So learn those skills first. Make sure that you have a woman that doesn't disrespect you. Make sure that you've had the captain of the ship talk. She knows you're the one in charge. You're leading this relationship and you're going to be the captain of the ship, and she agrees to that before you get married. If you did that one thing, you wouldn't have to worry about divorce, because majority of women would be like, nah, hell no, you're not the captain of this ship. But if you are that man that women trust, then women will say, sure, yeah, I trust you. I'd follow you anywhere. Yeah, you can lead me. That's the key. This is not easy stuff, guys. This is why it's like red pill stuff. It's sort of like, I think Roloff said it. I think he said it's like giving a kid dynamite, or maybe that was the game, but it is like dynamite. You can blow yourself up with it, and you can blow other people up with it because you don't really understand the depth of it. But if you get it and use this as a tool in order to grow and develop yourself as a man, and to start to say, I need to understand how to show up as a man in a relationship, even before I'm in a relationship, and that would change everything. So feel free to hate on this as much as you want, guys. I have heard it all before, and you can think what you like about it, and you can think that I'm naive and whatever, but the proof is in the pudding, and you'll see it. You'll see it. If you watch my podcast with my wife, Better Than Perfect podcast, you'll see how much that she respects me, how tight our relationship is. If you could see at home that we don't fight, we don't have any arguments. If you could see that she trusts and respects me every day and shows me that, and that sex is crazy, it's amazing, it's like, it's all the time, and we've been together for 4 years, over 4 years. If you can see all those things, then you might really understand what I'm saying is true, because I've been in other situations before, but I've learned these things, and that's why I'm teaching them to you. Does it make me a very popular guy? No, because what the red pill is offering you is excuses. What I'm offering you is accountability. If you want to take accountability, come with me. If you want excuses, go with them. I'll see you tomorrow.